Today I'm sharing my fresh milled bread recipe. This is a recipe that I have been working to perfect, and I really hope you guys enjoy it as much as we do. It is something that I've put a lot of time, effort, and money into so that you could have a perfect sandwich loaf with fresh milled flour as well. And I don't want something that was crumbling. I don't want something that was cakey. And I really wanted something that would be comparable to store-bought bread. My family loves fresh bread, and I tested in the Angus room. I also tested in the KitchenAid, and it took about almost 2 weeks and daily baking. I am telling you, we were doing this as our daily bread. And I am ready to share the recipe. And if you guys want the recipe, as always, it will be linked in the description box below. And you could always bake along with me because I will be giving the measurements in this post as well. Now, here I have my new wheat berries. I bought a huge bucket from Ancient Grains Grand Teton, and this is hard white berries. And what I like to do is I fill up my ball jar. This is a 64 ounce, and I think I need to invest in some gallon ones because I have to keep going into the bucket, and I don't want to do that, but I think I'm guessing that I'm probably going to finish this before the end of the year because I've already made a sizable dent. So what I do is 600 grams of hard white wheat, and I like to go a little bit over just in case there's any stones or any pieces that I need to remove. I will say that Azure and Grand Teton have been the cleanest grain I have purchased to date. This was just a few pieces that I got out of my kamut that I bought from Bob's Red Mill. Then I'm going to put all of that grain, so we have 600 grams of hard white wheat, and then I use 200 grams of kamut, which is the brand name, but you may know it as Khorasan. If I'm saying that right, please let me know. I'm not sure. So after milling, I do like to Autolyze or Autolyze my flour, and that just means I'm letting it soak in water. And for me, I found that gives it the best texture. When I do cookies, pancakes, and bread, I find that the grain is just a bit softer. So we're going in with 550 grams of water. Then we're going to add in some honey. I need to get more. I'm running low on honey. I have tested this recipe so much that I used all of the honey that I usually buy for the summer. So I'm going to have to buy like 3 or 4 more bottles because this recipe is so good, but it does take about 90 grams of honey. And I found that that was the perfect amount. Then I also like to use sunflower lecithin. You can skip this if you'd like, but I found that it really helps the bread and make it last 1 to 3 days for us. When I say 1 is because it doesn't last that long. We kind of eat it quickly. And that is 10 grams of that. Now, the missing piece for me where my bread would be flexible the next day was the Vital wheat gluten. And I find that 25 grams of that is perfect. Then we do 10 to 15 grams of lemon juice. And I just use the Lakewood that I bought off of Azure. And then we're going to add in our oil. I'm using avocado oil. You could also use olive oil, but it will have a flavor, about 80 grams of that. And then we're going to dump in that 600 grams of wheat flour. Now, when you grind it, I want you to make sure that your wheat is still at 600 grams because every mill is different. Some will retain some of that flour, so you may need to mill just a little bit more. Now we're going to mix this together just until combined so it can hydrate from all of the liquid we put in there. One thing I will say is I tested this in the Angus room as well as the KitchenAid. I don't really recommend the KitchenAid for dough because of their rule of no more than 2 minutes at speed 2. But the KitchenAid can do it. I just don't know how long and if you will be risking losing your mixer. So that is something you need to consider. There's other great mixers like the Zacme, the Bosch, the Angus room, and the Uni. I've only tested the KitchenAid and the Angus room. One thing I really like about the Angus room is it really scrapes the sides for me. In the KitchenAid, you're going to have to do that yourself. It's no big deal. You're just going to scrape it down and then mix it again. We're going to let it sit for 30 minutes and let all of that dough hydrate really nicely. And then we're going to add our remaining ingredients. I'm using 10 grams of instant yeast as well as 16 grams of table salt. And I also bought a new scale just to ensure that all of my measurements were correct because I really want this recipe to work for you guys. Speaking of, I am not going to be listing this as cups and spoon recipe. This is going to be in metric only This is to ensure that this recipe works as well as it does for me, as it will for you. And then we're going to add it in. It was blurry, but there's our salt and our yeast. And we're going to now knead this for 8 minutes. That is 4 times the recommended amount for KitchenAid, so keep that in mind if you're using a KitchenAid. And I do it until we reach the window pane. In the Ankerstrom, I will go from 12 to 15 minutes. It tears a tiny bit, but do you see how thin I have that? So that I am happy with. I'm ready to let this sit. I like to take well-oiled hands and just rub the sides of my bowl. I don't go too crazy here and wash the bowl or put it in a new bowl. This is perfectly fine for me. I'll even toss it in the oil of my hands. And then I like to let that sit for an hour. You could do this in a warm spot of your house if it's cold out. I usually do it at a sunny window or right by the stove. Then we're going to grease our working surface. I'm just using some avocado oil, but you could also use olive oil if you prefer, or you could even use a little bit of water, but I just find that avocado oil works the best for me, and I don't have a huge hydration in my recipe, so it's not a big deal. Then I like to divide it in half, and then I will form it. What I like to do here is just make sure I'm getting all of the air out. I do this by just pressing on the dough. Any air bubbles will usually come out, and then I fold it and roll it. So I tuck in the 2 corners and then just use my palm of my hand and make sure I'm just kneading it down and kind of sealing it, and I'll just keep rolling it in, tucking it, and rolling it. Another great video to watch for this would be King Arthur. They have a great technique for making sandwich bread. Now, once our bread is formed, we're going to put it into the baking dish that we greased, and then I'm going to clean my surface because it is oily, sticky, and we have all of that flour residual on there. And then we're going to make sure it's nice and dry. And then as you can see, the sun is peeking out on my counter. What I like to do is put it right on my island. I will put some hot water on and wring out a towel with that hot water. Make sure it's kind of dry and let it sit on my bread for anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. Once it's risen just above the pan like that, I like to bake it. We bake it for about 35 to 40 minutes. And once it's done, I like to let it cool. When I let it cool, I first put some butter on it, and this has really helped with the texture of the crumb, but I don't want too much butter, so what I do is I butter it, and then after I'm done buttering it, I will take a clean towel and put it right over top, and then I let this sit for at least 2 hours. I don't like to cut it until 2 to 3 hours, and the reason being is I don't want to lose any of that moisture, and it's still continuing to cook. This has been the perfect method for our bread. It's super soft the first day, the second day, and even the third day. Now, I will say, usually it's hard to not finish all of the bread, but I have been testing this recipe so much that we have so much bread, and I froze some. It's great for French toast. It's great for grilled cheese. It's great for toast with butter. I like it with some avocado or cottage cheese. My kiddos like it plain. It is just the perfect bread. It's great for sandwiches too, and really holds up. For me, the missing piece was really that vital wheat gluten, and I kept trying to make it work without it. But when I'm mixing the kamut croissant with the hard white, it just didn't have enough gluten in it. And the problem was it wasn't getting as high, and it wasn't getting that good window pane. It was reaching a window pane, I will say that, but it wasn't the bread texture I want. As you can see here, it's nicely breaking a little bit, like it's kind of resisting the break, but with the vital wheat gluten, I could really bend this bread, and it stays like that for 2-3 days. Now, if you want to use it without vital wheat gluten, you can. It will be the one on the left, and it's still delicious. My kiddo has been eating it. My youngest, he's been eating it like it's cookies. He keeps saying, "Can I have another piece of bread? Can I have another piece of bread?" He loves it. So if you want that bread, that is perfect to do without the vital wheat gluten. But if you want that bread that's going to really stand up and do what it needs to do for a few days. Now, this was the bread testing for kiddo approved, like that white bread, store-bought flavor, kind of like that. Soon I'll be trying hard red, more of an adult palate, and I can't wait for that. Maybe I won't need to use the vital wheat gluten, but I am not afraid to give it a try without it, and try with it. Now, I made a ton of bread to get to this point. And what I did is I froze each loaf because we're not going to waste bread over here. I will say some of them had that moist texture, almost not, I don't want to say banana bread, but that kind of moistness to it. And that wasn't what I was going for, but I still froze them because I don't want to waste bread. And one of the best ways to freeze bread for me is to cut up some parchment paper and put it in between each slice. So this way it's easy to grab and go when you want to grab a piece. Now you could freeze it whole too, but then you have to use that whole loaf. And I do like to use it like this. And what I can do is I can reuse those parchment paper pieces, and I can also reuse this bag. I like to get out as much air as possible when freezing. So I kind of just smush it down a little bit, and then I'll seal the bag and it's ready to freeze. And then you can have a piece of bread whenever you want it. Otherwise, they do stick together and it's hard to take apart. I'm so glad that I tested because I have the perfect sandwich bread now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoy it. I will see you in the next video. As always, take care, friends, and God bless you.